Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Enough channel. In this video we're going to review week 13 of the NFL season, and I guess in particular looking at the Sportsdeck Dream Team. So a great week for us as it turned out, with 591, which was top 100 for the week overall, and also catapulted us back into the top 100 for the season. So current rank of 87, which is awesome. Top 3%, so ideally push towards the top 1%, but that's going to be obviously top 50. We'll absolutely take top 100 if that's where we land. So if we have a look at the team after round 13, so Jalen Hurts was our captain, and unless we took a flyer on a wide receiver, that was the best option with a 47. Mahomes with 27 was solid, but probably not spectacular. And Will Levis with a 22, so decent effort from our backup quarterback. Running backs, we had to play McCaffrey, Williams, Eckler, Ford. So Eckler is struggling, but McCaffrey, awesome as ever. Kyron Williams has been really good since his return. I'm glad we've got him. And Jerome Ford, solid, pretty handy sort of fourth player for us. Sorry, a bit sweaty. Just walked home from work and straight into it. Our wide receivers were really good this week. So Tyreek with a 60, he's just killed it all season. CD Lamb with the 53, really nice return there. Keenan Allen was probably the miss with a 16, but everyone else did well. AJ Brown with the 30 was good. Devonta Smith with 40, he's crushed it the last few weeks. And then Debo was 67, so he was the highest scorer on our team. But it would have been a pretty brave person to captain Debo. Our tight ends, so Travis Kelce with a 20, doing Travis Kelce things. Sam Laporta, 49, absolutely massive. I know in my redraft league I had Jake Ferguson on the bench, and he scored well in the Thursday night game. And one of my mates was giving it to me about Laporta. I was like, he was safe as houses. And then he blew it up. So, massive fan of Laporta. Aubrey, 30 points from a kicker is pretty good, and outscored Moody. But unfortunately, our defense, we won Dallas defense, and we got outscored by Chicago on their bye, which is pretty crazy to think about. But that's just how it goes, I suppose. So, yeah, so our team obviously went quite well. I'll have a quick look around the grounds. So round 13. Yep, so good win against the Bin Chickens. Not that they're paying too much attention. Timmy's caddy with 589. So just squeaked past him for the highest score in the league, which is pretty nice. So I guess we can have a look at all the matchups. Go back to week 13. So a $5 footlong defeated Wacko Jacko. So who did he have? Lit it up. No one really spectacular. Both had Laporta. Kamara with a 51. That's nice. Jordan Love with 47. Yeah, I guess. Did they beat Kansas? I can't remember. I know the Green Bay were playing well against Kansas, but I've forgotten the result. We might have a look at the matches. See the key talking points out of that. But maybe missing a player has cost them a bit. So went the tight end loophole, but then who have they missed? Oh, didn't have defense. Is that what happened there? I don't know. Weird. Maybe because they used their auto emergency on the Porter, they didn't get Dallas' score. I don't know. That's weird. Don't understand what's happened there, because JSN was auto. Yeah, so don't know what's happened there, but got the win anyway. So I think I was looking at the wrong team to start with. Alvin Kamara was the difference maker. Well, it looks like it with his 51. Had McCaffrey as well. Well, I guess both had McCaffrey. Yeah, the VC on Hertz, nice. Tony Pollard was good by the look of it with 31. Austin Heckler's getting a win over son of Brady, so captaining Tyreek hasn't been the worst option all season. VC on Lamb and went the loop still, or didn't loop. That's a great call. Um, yeah, I think we've talked about most of those players. Yeah, nothing too much stands out there. Both have Bijan Robinson, so that might have dragged down their overall a bit. Both had Mike Evans, who went well. There you go, fantastic. And Timmy's caddy beaten dropping dimes, so Captain Tyreek over Captain Herbert. That's probably the difference. You add on another 30 to dimes. That's enough for a win. So anyone else? Tua was pretty solid at 38. Mike Evans shows up again. Jamar Chase with 52. That's solid. So probably just the captaincy choice because Will had Debo, had Jamar Chase who went well, CeeDee Lamb went well. Just wrong captain. That's unfortunate. If we have a look across the league, so high scoring game on Thursday night. So yeah, Dak was massive, CeeDee Lamb massive, Jake Ferguson 33 is good. I wish I'd gone with him over Luke Musgrave as the third option, but hindsight is 2020. DK was massive alongside Gino. So if anyone was brave enough to play Gino Smith, 61 points is nothing to sneeze at. Houston sneaking over Denver. So Nico Collins with 59. And, if you've got him, his stock is only going to increase after the news that Tank Dell out for the rest of the season. So, there looks like there'll be, more focus on Nico Collins, which could also negatively impact him if defenses, double team him perhaps. But, the way CJ Stroud's playing, keep Nico Collins for sure if you've got him. Russell Wilson was decent, but no, nothing too spectacular around him. Don't think there'll be too much to talk about here with the Falcons and Jets. The defense, top scoring is usually not a good sign. Second top scorer for the Jets. Can imagine this is going to be even worse. So Chargers 34 defense. Sorry, Chargers defense 34 points was the top scorer. So that doesn't say too much about New England. So Laporta, we've talked about Kamara, we've touched on, you know, Olave solid, Goff solid, Montgomery solid, St. Brown pass, pass mark, I should say, not pass on the player, he's a good player. But yeah, Cardinals getting the win over Pittsburgh. James Conner with a 45, Trey McBride with 37. So he's been a nice mid-season pickup for those who got on him. Deontay Johnson top scored for Pittsburgh, which is interesting because I had him in my redraft league and he didn't do much at all. So in that league, also had Jalen Warren, which was a bit flat, but we won't worry about that. Indianapolis getting the win over Tennessee. So Pittman 46, Minshew 36, 44, sorry, Minshew 36. Pierce, the defense also quite good. Matt Gay getting some points. Derrick Henry, peaked that little, sorry, the spike game, I suppose. So he will rise a bit in price and then probably peak. So if you've got him and you've got trades, you might want to wait a week or two and then use that value elsewhere. Hopkins was good, 32. Levis we've touched on. That's about it. So Miami putting 45 up. So A-Chain, um, what's he sitting on? Yeah, so he scored that one a couple of weeks ago and then got rested. So yeah, he only went up 70k. So I think if you're looking for a late season flyer in the running back spot, this would be the guy I target. If you look at their run home, Tennessee, it's good. Jets, good matchup. And I think they're both at home, HRS, because there's four that appear there. Hard Rock Stadium, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Miami. So four of their last five at home. Dallas might be the one where it'll be a bit of a shootout. So high scoring might not get the runs, but Baltimore and Buffalo, in the playoffs sort of picture, not the Not the easiest strength of schedule, but yeah, 4 out of the last 5 at home. That's actually pretty nice. It's worked out well. He's missed a lot of the away games in the middle of the season, so I don't know if I'll be able to make the move just because of the lack of trades. But definitely, if you've got a couple up your sleeve, he would be one that I'd be seriously targeting. And my guy Sam Howell still doing the business at Washington. Not much else around him, unfortunately. Tampa getting up over Carolina. So we've talked about Mike Evans. Rashad White was good. Chuba Hubbard, solid running back option at Carolina. Definitely, RB1 over Miles Sanders. LA Rams. So Stafford, Nakua, Williams, good. Cup, average, but better than what he has been. Joe Flacco under center at Cleveland. So it's his price point 10 mil. Probably not that much value there, but I guess a proven entity in the league. Bryant, the tight end, with 26. I haven't seen or heard much about him. It's his story. So, yeah, not much at all, and then blows up in this game. So, I don't know if there's injuries there or what. Doesn't look like there's anything too familiar. Njoku. So, I would have thought he'd be tight end one. So, don't know, maybe just Bryant's day out. Where are we up to? San Fran, Philly. So Debo was awesome. Brock Purdy, very good with 58s. McCaffrey, we've talked about. Philly's assets, we've talked about. DeAndre Swift was a bit flat with a 5 if you had him. But yeah, and the Philly Eagles defense, who I have in the redraft league, very disappointing. Oh yeah, Green Bay did win over Kansas. Fantastic. So yeah, Christian Watson, I do remember his touchdown catch was pretty epic. Jordan Love was good. Pacheco was also good for Kansas City. We might have got off him a bit early, but that's how it goes in this game. Nothing much else to write about. And then another high scoring one with the Bengals and Jacksonville. So Browning with a 52. He's probably jumped up in price a bit now off the back of that. Yeah, jumped up 3 mil in 1 week. So yeah, that was the game everyone was hoping for that got on. Particularly if you got on him before his third game, you'd be absolutely cheering on out. Back to week 13. So Joe Mixon was good also with 52. Jamar Chase 52. So a trio of 52s. That's pretty rare. Trevor Lawrence with 49. So he's definitely lifted in the second half of the season. Evan Ingram finally sort of getting a bit of points with 37. ETN's been solid all year with 31. Washington, I don't know much about this bloke. Parker Washington, there you go. First game. So I guess maybe if you are looking for a cheap option in the back end of the season, it could be this guy. But you can wait a week too, see if he does get another go. Because just looking through, yeah, Ridley played, Kirk played, Zay Jones played. There you go, might have just been his day. Fantastic. So to go back to the team, as I said, probably not going to make any trades this week. But if I was looking to make a trade, I think if you got someone like Eckler, I'd be binning him, and he'd be a fair way down the list now. Bringing in Achan, I think if I have this sort of group of 5 for the back end of the season, well, I think Taylor might be injured. I've got to double check on that because yeah, well, Indianapolis played and he didn't, so it might even be Eckler gets a reprieve and Taylor would be the one to go. Um, but you know, then we only have one trade left, and I feel like the two trades are probably going to be best used in week 18 when there's a lot of restings and getting ready for the playoffs and or for teams out of the playoffs just trying different players for the new season potentially. So yeah, he'd definitely be the target in the running backs. Um, Actually, I might just trade Eckler out. We can look at some other options, I suppose. But again, at this time of year, there's not a lot of trades to go around. So ETN's dipped in price a bit. So if you like him, you could get on. Kamara on the way up, perhaps as a 21%, so not exactly a pod. Same with ETN. So I think it's a chance ownership like 10%. So yeah, it's definitely more pod territory too, which is brilliant. Um, Depending on Taylor's injury, Zach Moss could be an absolute bargain. 7 mil, 7% owned. That's the sort of stuff you want to take a late season flyer on. Um, Other than that, nothing too much. Maybe Chuba Hubbard, solid but not spectacular. But I guess if you are looking for like a slight downgrade, upgrade cash elsewhere, could do worse than Chuba Hubbard. Don't think there's any out and out cheapies to consider, but we'll scroll down the list a bit more. Nick Chubb's out for the season, so his 2 games aren't worth much. So you can see a lot of these guys, playing 6 games for 26 points. There's not a lot of value there. Melvin Gordon, I don't think he's played for a while. Brooks, wouldn't have thought so with HN back. Yeah, so not sure if there's too many sort of cheapies out there, bottom dollar. It'd be just, cashing one out to use the money elsewhere. Uh, James Conner might be good after the bye this week, so don't bring him in this week, wait a week. But at 9 mil, represents a bit of value. Charbonnet, depending on Kenneth Walker's injury, I haven't looked too closely at it to be honest, but he could actually be a late season flyer too there. With a 32 in his rolling average, he should make some money. Other than that, the usuals like Montgomery. Mostert's been solid all year, even with A-Chain back. But yeah, after that, nothing too much to inspire the troops. Zach Moss we've talked about. What about wide receivers? We're not going to trade Debo, but I guess Metcalf would be a pod. Like I said, Nico Collins I think is a really good pod given the Dell injury. Jamar Chase, it looks like Browning's pretty solid as a quarterback option, so we did jump off for that reason. Looks like it was okay if you held. Christian Watson would be a bit of a super pod if he blew up the next few weeks. Nakua's been solid after making that initial money. But yeah, nothing really jumps out. Again, we could sit and wait a week on Washington. Looks like it was his first game. He's not. No one's even picked him in the team, so he's come from nowhere. I reckon that'll change after this week. Definitely could after next week. Demarcus Robinson. Don't know much about him, but he's a cheap option. Yeah, not a lot of great value, I don't think, at the moment. All the players are pretty fairly priced. So, you might take a flyer on someone like a JSN. Jameson Williams scored a touchdown. That might be enough to get some cash gen going. But other than that, I guess maybe someone like a Lockett or Garrett Wilson's pretty popularly owned, but not doing too much for the Jets. T. Higgins is back, which is nice, so that's a pretty juicy sort of price point, particularly if the Bengals are going to go on a bit of a run. But yeah, tight end options again. We haven't been using a lot of trades at tight end, but yeah, these guys are all sort of awkwardly priced now. McBride, Ferguson, even Ingram. He's gone up a bit in cash. Bryant might be worth seeing if there's a bit more of a role there, perhaps. Pruitt at Atlanta. Not sure what his role is like. Um, yeah, nothing too much stands out. Jimmy Graham's back, the old timer. But I don't think we're wasting too much in terms of trades. Like total points, I wanted tight end, get rid of Musgrave. So we've got two of the top three. Hawkinson is number one, just. Um, That's right. Kelsey missed the game, so he's still top in terms of average. But Laporta as a rookie to be third overall is pretty decent. Outpointing Kittle, higher average than Mark Andrews as well, which is pretty nice. Um, so yeah, it's been a pretty solid pick. Kickers, I don't think we're going to muck around with too much. But we will have a look at who's done well across the season. So Hopkins from Cleveland, Aubrey number 2. So for a bottom dollar kicker, and I think they said in the commentary he hasn't missed a kick all year, which is pretty crazy. It was either him or Moody. I can't remember. It was one of them, but pretty sure it was Aubrey. So he's been a little gem for us. Matt Gay's always up there and thereabouts. Jake Elliott's solid from Philly. I think he might have been the one they said hasn't missed a kick all year. Justin Tucker's a legend. The kicking game. Santos McPherson are old hats at this. So yeah, so as you can see, there's not really a lot of value, and you know, if we look at the averages, they're all very much the same. So 21, 18. So whichever way you slice it, you're going to get that point. You might get the spike like the 30. You just got to play to win. And in terms of defense, so despite the -2, Dallas have still been the best defense this season, averaging 23. I guess all the teams have played about the same now, so the points and averages should match up. Baltimore's been good. Denver's good. Yeah, so I think a few of these names aren't too surprising. Pittsburgh, San Fran. I guess if I was trying to pick a defense, I'd go the Niners. They looked really good against the Eagles. If you can do well against the Eagles, you probably do well against anyone. Only scored 8, but probably looked better than that, to be fair. I think just how good Philly is in attack. But yeah, nice sort of draw too, with the Cardinals, Washington, even the Rams in there. Pretty favourable. So that might be the way I'd go, but not going to waste a trade on defense. Quarterback, that's the position we forgot. So Josh Allen, top scorer. So I don't know if we can bring him back in, just because even if we trade out Mahomes, we can't afford. Need to use both trades to get Allen back in. And as good as he is, I don't know if he's that good. um, but that's the reason why we started these two guys, was we knew they were rock solid, averaging 49 and 48, and clear sort of space to Dak at third, and then even a bigger jump to, well, it's not quite in order of average. So Stroud, Herbert, at 39 essentially. So yeah, so I think that was the right call at the start of the year. But we've gone the anti-pod on Josh Allen. Um, it might cost us a few points overall, but we'll just have to see how we go, I think. So actually, what could we get for Mahomes? So if we sort by price, so priced out of Dak and Josh Allen, so the top 3 by average are just out of our reach. We can get Stroud, um, and against the Jets, and then who else? Tennessee, 2 against Tennessee. Don't know how good their defense has been. Might have to look into that a little bit, but you could do a lot worse. Imagine if we locked him in as our cheapie at the start of the year. 16.2 mil in the bank. That would be sweet. But wasn't to be. Brock Purdy's been good. Somehow Trevor Lawrence has kicked in price the last few weeks. I think if we look at him, yeah, so 63.50. So he bottomed out at 14.4. So he's made 4 mil in the last few weeks and is on the up, I'd imagine. Kyler Murray's been solid on his return, averaging 36, is up there with the, top 10. Jordan Love, so actually should probably do 3-week averages to see the form. yeah, Lawrence I thought would be number one. Top three, awesome. Jordan Love's been good. Stroud, solid. Brody, Sam Howell. Matt Stafford's lifted the last few weeks, which is nice. Kyle's been good, as we said. Lamar, solid. Gino, there or thereabouts. Mahomes, just slightly off the pace, but that's fine. Let's have a look overall to see who we missed. So, top three all QBs. Tyreek, I think, pretty much everyone's got. Dak's been good. So, Super Pod, Dak Prescott. Kyron Williams, awesome. I think he's been back for 2 weeks from his injury. Hasn't missed much. McCaffrey, everyone's got. Mike Evans, yeah, been good and a bit of a pod. Debo, we've discussed. Collins, we've discussed. I don't think there's anyone we've missed too much. Debo, probably boosted by this 68. Dell, we said, is out for the season, I believe, so not a viable option. Devonta Smith's been good since we got him in. Noah Brown didn't play last week. That's interesting. Justin Jefferson should be back this week, so he could actually be a bit of a pod to finish the season. So I'd have to trade maybe an Allen to Jefferson. Would consider. But like I said, I do want to try to keep the trades as deep into the season as we can. So I've probably spent enough time talking about players. We'll set the team and we'll wrap it up. So pretty much quarterbacks are as is. And absolutely, I think even though they're playing Dallas, we'll keep the C on Hurts. He's clearly got a higher average than Mahomes. Mahomes does play a little bit earlier, so we can have a bit of a loophole, perhaps. Although we don't have anyone on bye this week, so it might be maybe if Taylor's still injured, Musgrave might still be injured, but we're too late to put the Porter in. Don't know. We'd work something out. Might have to trade in enough, perhaps something like that. Maybe trade out Jake Moody for enough and get the kicker in. Yeah, over Aubrey makes sense. Um, Running backs. So Saquon's back in. And the smart money would say forward, but Eckler's been really bad. So Cleveland against Jacksonville, Chargers against Denver. All right, we'll give Eckler one more chance, perhaps. I think if Taylor's fit, which I'm not sure he will be, but where's Indianapolis playing at Cincinnati? Oh, so no, that's Cleveland, not Cincinnati. So I probably would play Taylor over Eckler if fit, but I didn't actually check the update on that. But I feel like he's still out. Finding a spot for Stefan Diggs is a tough one. I guess given their turnaround in defense, we might fade Keenan Allen for this one. Play Diggs in his place. So Debo's against Seattle. I think that's a good matchup. Philly against Dallas. I think that'll be a shootout. So they'll both get a bit of action. Lamb will definitely get some targets. And Miami against Tennessee could actually be one where we do the loophole that way. Am I brave enough to back in Tyreek? In short, the answer is no. I think I'm just going to lock in Hurts as is, and Tyreek is just in case Hurts doesn't play. I'll give him that. Tight ends, I don't think we mess with. Kicker, Aubrey's been solid all year. We'll keep him over Moody, and surely the Cowboys, although they are playing Philly, who's Chicago playing? Detroit, nah, I don't think they'll do much against Detroit. Detroit should be too good, so we'll back the Cowboys in with their defense, make something happen. I'm not super comfortable about benching Keenan Allen, to be honest, but who misses out? It's really a bit of a lottery between the two Philly guys and Debo, perhaps. with all the weapons there at San Fran, he can get lost in the shuffle occasionally. But we did bring him in for the upside. Um, Devonta Smith, maybe. Wide receiver 2 option. Does Zay Flowers get a look in? Probably not. Against the Rams is a nice matchup, but again, who do we sit out? We've probably got too many weapons at wide receiver. Yeah, don't know. The more I overthink it, the more annoyed I'll be when it doesn't work out. So we'll wrap the video up there. Um, as always, if you've got any thoughts or comments on the team, questions about your team, feel free to throw them in the comment section below. If you're enjoying the NFL content, remember to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel for